Welcome to the second video on professional programming in Python. My name's Andy Wicks, and this is the only video in the series where I'm knowingly putting an error in the code. So please stick with me. Guido van Rossum designed Python to be readable. You spend a lot more time reading code than you ever do writing it. And so if your code is readable and sticks to a particular standard, then your code is readable by anyone, even you, in years to come. The standard is called PEP8, and you'll find the link to that site below this video. There are certain things that you should do that we're going to explain as we go along to make your code more readable. For example, variable names should be all lowercase. If you want to have two or more words, you separate them with an underscore. So for example, here I've got my name equals, and then input whatever your name is. That way I can see that this is two words and that the variable is expected to hold my name. But there's an error, and we know there's an error in three specific ways. First of all, in the second line of code, one item here is underlined in a wiggly red line. Secondly, on the far right here, there's a red dash in the margin. And finally, up the top, there's a red exclamation mark, and it says one error found. Now there's also a warning triangle. That warning triangle is where it's recognized there's something that is not quite right, but it's not going to cause an error. It's not going to cause your program to crash. In this case, it's not too sure whether I should have full web addresses in my code. So it's giving me a warning. It's not a problem, and you are allowed to have warnings, and sometimes it's even a good idea to generate warnings, but you'll hear about that later on. So we've found a syntax error. What do we do about it? Well, we check and check and check, and eventually we work out, I've got my name in one place and name in the other. Now if I take out the error by putting my name in both places, the error is gone. The red line on the far right-hand side has gone, and the warning triangle up the top has also disappeared. We now have a program that works. And let me show you it working. I'm going to run the program by clicking on the green triangle, and it asks me what my name is. Down here in the runtime window, I can type in, my name is Andy. And it says, your name is Andy. And it has an exit code of 0. Excellent. We've got a program that works. It is syntactically correct. But what happens if other problems arise? Supposing I do this in the wrong order. Supposing what I do is I put that line of code first. Now I'm trying to get it to print my name, and it says there's an error. But we've quite clearly got my name is equal to input underneath that. What's the problem? I've told it what my name is, but I've tried to print out my name before I've told it. This is a semantic error, and this makes Python and every other computer language unhappy. Let me show you what happens if I try to run it. It comes up and it says, oh, you've got all sorts of things wrong with all of this code. It says it's not happy. It says my name is not defined because we haven't set my name equal to something yet. So let me put that line back again, and everything is back to where it was. We've got a program without errors that we know runs. Now we come on to layout errors, and this is where the PEP 8 kicks in. There are certain rules. They're not rules that will stop your program running, but supposing I took out that space there, you can see it's now got a wiggly yellow line under input. If I try to run this code, it still runs fine, but it's not as readable as it would have been if I'd have put the correct spacing round the equal sign. It's not that Python requires the spacing, it's that Guido van Rossum says if we all put spaces round an equal sign, we all know what we're looking for, and that makes sense. It's obviously a good idea to make sure that you get the layout right so that your program is readable by everybody else. Believe it or not, your task as a professional programmer is to make yourself redundant. The idea is to make yourself so good and to make your code so readable that you're easy to replace and can then be promoted. You can't be promoted if you're the only one who understands your code. That's making people keep you at the bottom of the pile. So since you're going places, you're going to be doing things right and following the PEP 8 standard.